Are you broken up from a partner that you have considered to be toxic or narcissistic? However, when you see them with another woman, it bothers you. And not only does it bother you to see them, but it bothers you that it bothers you to see them. Well, you're in the right place, because in this video, we are going to discuss that. And I believe that at the end of this video, so watch all the way through, you're going to be able to take some pointers away to help you to relieve some of that pain and some of that frustration that you feel when you see your toxic or narcissistic ex with another woman. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Naila Abdullah. I'm a mental health therapist turned toxic relationship coach. And after overcoming my own personal experiences with both toxic family and romantic relationships, I now work with women like you, helping you to heal, to rebuild yourself after the impact of a toxic or narcissistic relationship, and most importantly, moving on to the point where you never end up in another toxic or narcissistic relationship again. So if that sounds like something that you need, that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and let's get into this topic. So I've been receiving a few messages from people regarding this particular topic, and I'm actually going to read one of them to you, as well as share with you the response that I gave her. So let's go. Hi Naila, I am currently going through a divorce with a narcissist. After having a video call with them in regards to the divorce, that same day I accidentally saw my ex at the store with his girlfriend. I broke down crying. Thankfully, they didn't see me. I'm having trouble getting over seeing him with her. Prior to that time, I hadn't seen him in over a year. I'm considering moving out of the area so that I never have to see him again. So the first thing that I addressed with this lady was the video call. So my feedback to her was, when you are going through a divorce with a narcissist, anyone that you have considered to be toxic, which means destructive to your well-being, you want to go no contact, okay? And not because that's the new, snazzy thing to say, go no contact, but the reason for that is you are in a delicate space, you are in a very vulnerable space, and you do not need anything adding to that confusion that you have by being in contact with them. Because these people who have narcissistic traits, people who are toxic, destructive, they are very strategic at being able to manipulate you without even being in the relationship. That is a big mistake people make, is that they think because the relationship is over, I haven't been with them, or it's been a year or 2 years, that they can't trigger you anymore. They can still trigger you if you have not done the necessary work to heal. And heal does not just mean I feel better now. I'm not feeling the pain anymore. And we'll go more into that later on in this video. However, the main point here is that you want to protect yourself. You want to guard yourself. So you want to go no contact. If children are involved, you want to go minimal contact, which means you're solely talking about the children. A video call is the last thing you want to do. Get an attorney, put your money together, get an attorney if you can, and let them handle the divorce. The next point that I addressed here was the question about moving out of town so she never has to see this person again. Now, while moving is not a bad thing, I think it's great in a lot of cases. It gives you a fresh start, because if you've been in a relationship for a while, and most toxic and narcissistic relationships are typically long-term relationships, there's a lot of memories you have around there. You do risk running into the person. So I do understand wanting a fresh start. I'm not against that. But what I did put emphasis on with this person, and with you as well, if you relate to some of this, is that you don't want to move thinking that you're going to just forget everything and everything's going to start over fresh and everything's going to be fine. There is still work to be done once you move, right? And that work is that healing journey, right? Making those necessary mindset shifts. So like I said, healing is not just about feeling better and not feeling the pain anymore. That's just one layer. That's usually the first layer of healing. Healing also means that your mindset is shifting, that you're looking at things differently, that your perspective is different on the situation, on how you handle things, and also on who that person is. So if you've been connected to me for a while, you know I tend to use analogies of using animals and our beautiful animal kingdom. So I gave her the example of, imagine if you had a pet scorpion, right? And that pet scorpion, you found it intriguing to have a scorpion as a pet. However, that scorpion would sting you every chance it got. Or let's say there were nice moments with the pet scorpion that it didn't sting you, but there were times where it stung you and it just caused you a lot of pain, right? So finally you decided to let the scorpion go, release it into the wild. However, maybe a month later, you see someone else walking with that very same pet scorpion, right? And they're walking around with it. And what are you going to think? Are you going to say, wow, I missed that pet scorpion? Are you going to cry about that pet scorpion? Or are you going to look at that pet scorpion and say, wow, I'm glad I got rid of you. I'm glad I don't have to get stung by you anymore. I hope that other person knows what you're really about. You're going to do option B, right? You're not going to cry about that. And that is the same way we need to think about, well, why am I responding to a situation, if it was a pet scorpion in that way, but not to this person? And the reason I believe that is, and this is homework that you have to do, right? Again, this is the healing. This is part of doing the work, right? Doing the work is a trendy term, but it really means looking at the mindset, because if we don't do that, what will happen is if you pick up and move, right? If you don't change your mindset, you're going to fall right back into another toxic or narcissistic relationship because you're the same person. Healing is not just about getting away and being free and not having to deal with that person anymore, or not feeling the pain anymore, but it's also making sure that you're not the same person. Not that you were bad, right? We're not here to judge ourselves, but we are here to look internally to say, well, what version of me allowed me to be manipulated and treated in this way and tolerate the abuse and the treatment that I got, right? So that is part of doing the work. So again, the question is, the homework for you is, why is it when I think of a pet scorpion, I'm not going to say, wow, I miss you, because they stung you enough times to cause you so much pain, right? That brought you to even listen to this video here today, right? It puts you in this whole world of trying to understand toxic and narcissistic people and, changing your life and causing, it uprooted your life, right? You're not going to miss that pet scorpion. So why do you miss this ex, right? And that's not coming from a judgmental place. Again, this is not about you judging yourself and being hard on yourself. This is normal. This is normal. I've received many messages about this. I get it. Right? But now the homework is, why is it? Why won't I miss the pet scorpion, but why would I miss the toxic ex? And one of the reasons I believe that is because when you are in a toxic and narcissistic relationship, you fantasize. You fantasize who you want the person to be. You live in a space of denial and fantasy. And even though the relationship has ended, it doesn't mean that that fantasy has ended. On one hand, you know the monster that's in there because you've seen enough, right? You've seen enough to make the relationship end, right? However, that fantasy is still buried somewhere in there. And now when you see them with that other woman, you feel hurt. You feel like your person that you have fantasized, that character that you've created within your fantasy, is being taken by someone else. So my suggestion to you is, as you are doing your own homework, to ask yourself, why do I feel pain when I see this person that has caused me so much harm, right? Just like the pet scorpion has caused me so much harm, but I don't miss the pet scorpion. Why do I miss the ex? You want to ask yourself, why is that? What fantasy have I created about this person? And then you want to compare it to the real person. Right? Not the person that you saw in the beginning that they used to reel you in, not the love bombing person, right? Because what happens in these types of relationships is that we help them hurt us. We help them hurt us because they give you breadcrumbs. They give you breadcrumbs of good times. They give you breadcrumbs of good moments. And we hold on to that. We hold on to those crumbs. Right? We hold on to it hoping that we're going to get more. We hold on to it to justify the fact that you're still in the relationship, right? We hold on to it so we don't feel so bad about ourselves that we stuck around so long. Well, it wasn't always that bad. Well, he did help me here. Well, he did support me here when Auntie so-and-so wasn't good to me, or when my parents wasn't there for me. He did step in here. He did. So we hold on to all these good moments because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to admit to ourselves that we allowed someone to mistreat us. We also, some of us, have been conditioned to give people passes to mistreat us because there were times when they were good to us. That's a big flaw. And I go more into that in my guide. It's in the description box below about mistakes that you need to avoid during and after toxic relationships. Make sure you get into that. Right? But that is some of the conditioning. And again, this is all a part of doing the work. Looking at what is the mindset that I had that got me into this situation, that kept me here. And what parts of me, what parts of my mindset do I need to change? Do I need to shift to make sure that I don't end up back here again? To make sure that I'm not missing someone that was hurting me and breaking me, even if it wasn't every day, because most of the times it's not. That's how they keep you there, right? They just give you good parts and bad parts, hoping that you can overshadow the bad parts with the good parts. Right? But this is what is called doing the work. So after doing some of the work of trying to understand why is there pain around seeing them with another woman, the next point that I went into is the lies that society tells about time. That time heals all wounds. That is a lie. As the people say, lies they tell. Okay? That is a lie, because as you heard with this particular lady that sent me this message, that it's been a year since she'd seen this person, right? A year. And let me say this again, we're human. No one is that tough that they won't feel any pain, or it won't be a shock to see someone that you have had a relationship with, and it's been a year. It will be a shock. That is normal. But when there's pain attached there, again, that is indicative that one, time heals all wounds is a lie, and two, that means that there's more work to be done. As you are doing the work, I just want you to keep this thing in mind. Doing the work does not mean being distracted with other things. It doesn't mean that you are going to now invest your time in a new career, in a new degree, with a new group of friends, with new hobbies. All of those things are good. Moving to another place, all of those things are absolutely fine. But doing the work is primarily about you. It's primarily about looking at self. I had to do the same thing. I was in a 10-year toxic relationship. I had to figure out, well, how did a smart woman like me, yes, call yourself smart because most of you are, most women that I work with, that I just speak to in general, that have been in a toxic and narcissistic relationship, are intelligent women who make pretty good decisions for themselves, except when it comes to relationships. And there is a reason for that. It's not a coincidence, right, that this pattern is happening in society. It is because we are getting out of relationships, but we're not doing the necessary work to look at ourselves, to figure out what parts of me, what parts of my mindset do I need to shift? What perspectives are getting me into these types of relationships and keeping me in these types of relationships? There is a reason behind it. And that reason can be figured out as you go through that healing journey, as you do that work, as you ask those difficult questions, okay? It is definitely possible and it's necessary to live your best life. You deserve for your relationships, for the quality of your relationships, to resemble the quality of the other parts of your life, right? You don't want to be a success in all these other areas of your life, but be failing at relationships because there's still work to be done. Let's get that work done. Let's have that 360 life, right? That all-arounder. We can have that. I hope that today's episode was beneficial for you. If you found it helpful, go ahead and click the link in the description box below. You will also find my free guide, Beneficial. These are mistakes that you want to avoid during a toxic relationship as well as after a toxic relationship. So go ahead and access that guide now, where you can learn those 3 mistakes that you want to avoid. And I will see you in the next episode.